Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a great week. Today we're in the world of Ondarion, building in the neighborhood of Dambele, which is a West African inspired world that came with the new Royalty and Legacy expansion pack for The Sims 4, and we are checking that out thanks to the Sims Creator program. I really love this portion of the world. I love the architecture and just the houses and all of the neighboring lots. And there's like blue coastal waters and boats that kind of rock and docks. And it's just a really beautiful portion of Ondarion. So we are building the Manden Residence, which is a luxury mansion that's been kind of modernized and kind of brought back to life. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. But before we go any further and get into the nitty-gritty details of the build, I do want to quickly mention if you are picking up the Royalty and Legacy expansion pack, feel free to use my creator code. It provides a 5% off discount to you, but also helps support me as a creator and of course supporting the channel. So thank you so much in advance if you do decide to use my creator code, but no pressure if you don't want to. So yeah, the build took shape pretty quickly. We have these boxes here. We'll have a living space, a kitchen, a dining room, and of course a grand kind of entryway. This entrance portion that I'm building right now actually ends up changing. I worked on this build for a little while and I came back to it later on and I was like, I just don't like the front elevation of this build. There was something about it. So we do actually change it out later on and get rid of that like whole support column, though we do keep the like wooden I don't know what you would call that, like the wooden decorative part over the front entryway, but it is more I don't know, kind of more freestanding and it kind of just makes the build look better, I guess is the best way to describe it. So yeah, we're working on the interior now, quickly doing the kind of like entryway. And I decided to do this glass roof bit over most of the like second floor hallway here. But we also changed that as well because I felt like there was just too much light, like it was too open, too bright. So we shrink the skylights down. We do still have skylights, but they're much narrower. I am now working on ways to get up to the rooftop terrace, which originally also it was kind of broken apart and there were two separate sides, as you can see here. But when I do some of the renovations and improvements, when I come back to the build, we actually make one giant rooftop terrace, though it is still accessible from both sides. Something else that I also noticed is there is a stairwell on the like left side of the house. And then when the build was all finished, there was literally like it was just like a stair to nowhere, I guess. Right here basically is what we're working on. Yeah, it basically went nowhere. And I was like, because when I was finished, there was no door out to this little area or anything. So I'm like, oh, so we do actually add a stairwell in that goes down to ground level on this side. And then there's some space underneath the stairs, which I use to kind of hide the like regular trash cans. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like you don't even know it's there. So it's a really neat build. I'm very excited to share this one. I'm also very excited to hop over to Bellecourt as well, which will be the next speed build. I definitely want to do some kind of like Bridgerton inspired kind of build. And I know that a lot of my speed builds right now have been kind of small. I haven't done any kind of grand royal mansions or palaces or anything like that, but don't you worry, we will get into that. I'm just kind of getting a feel for the objects and the different areas of Ondarion and everything. So I wanted to do some smaller builds at first, and then we'll jump into some more larger royal palaces and mansions. But I don't know, the Bellecourt build might be a pretty big one. I don't really know yet. All I know is I just want to do something Bridgerton inspired and something very grand, but maybe not massive. Maybe something like a decent size, but nothing huge yet. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess, when we get to that. But yeah, for this part of the world, for Dambele, I think it's pretty interesting. There's a well called Anansi's Well, which hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, but it is in the Durong Dynasty residence. And basically what your Sims will do is like they have to complete 4 different trials, and this well will grant your Sims mysterious powers. Doesn't say what those are, but I thought that was an interesting little nugget of knowledge for this part of the world. So yeah, As far as the speed build, we are now inside and working on the entryway and like the upstairs hallway. I went for this more neutral tone at first, but then we do kind of, I guess, elevate it a bit more with some red carpeting going down the stairs. And we do kind of figure stuff out as we go along, I guess, because like the styles change throughout as I kind of progress. Because I'm just like, oh, I don't know, it's like wood tones change, walls change, things like that change. But this part here where I'm building the column and have a little bit of a trim there, that actually becomes the kitchen and dining room. And then we have this beautiful new fireplace in the living room, which will be a nice addition. There is no TV in this build. I will mention that because I just didn't include one this time. I love the idea of shrinking down a lamp and kind of putting a tiny lamp in the kitchen. I just thought it was so nice and kind of brought some cozy, I guess, lighting to the kitchen, even though it's still a very bright build altogether. We'll get to my favorite room a little bit later on, which is actually the primary bedroom. Yeah, that one's my favorite. Like the lighting in there and just how it's like open. We're actually like lighting up that space right now, what will become the primary bedroom and bath. But yeah, it's my favorite part. But if you do want to grab this build, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. Here is the gallery listing. So it's called the Manden Residence. It's 30 by 20, 2-bed, 2-bath, a whopping 233,489 simoleons. So yeah, it's pretty expensive considering it's only 2 beds and 2 baths. But it's a luxury mansion, and it has a rooftop terrace, and like it's very grand. It's not like a really grand, but I don't know. I really like it. So, but I don't know what made the value go so high. It's probably a mixture of furnishings and some paintings and stuff I put around. A lot of different things. So yeah, it could just be a lot of things, but yeah, it's pretty expensive, but it only requires base game and royalty and legacy. So there's no other packs or kits or content used in this particular build, which I don't do when we're doing like the first round of builds, but we will eventually add in some new content and other content from other packs and kits and stuff as we go along, because I do feel like it could benefit. But I always like to have builds where like if you're just starting out and you just want to kind of experience the objects of the new pack, it's kind of what I like to do. So that's kind of what we're doing. So yeah, this is the living space. We have this wall of bookcases or bookshelves. And then we have a seating area behind the like main living space. And then we have this fireplace. And then to the right and left of the fireplace are these like doors. They don't look like doors, but they are doors. And they go out to a back kind of balcony arched space, which is also very nice. You can kind of see it there a little bit. And it's kind of like this enclosed space here, which we're now putting some furniture in. We do come back and change the coloring of this furnishing. Once I get up to the rooftop terrace and I kind of put that together, I realized maybe we should have the furniture matching a little bit. So I do come down and just adjust the colors of those. We also surround the build with some fountains, at least on the sides back here. And then we do the fountain out front, of course. But yeah, and then to try and kind of match and blend a little bit better, I noticed that they use kind of like this hardwood, I guess, trim leading up to this particular lot, even though it's off the lot. So I tried to match that as much as possible. It's not the same like wood tone, but it's pretty close. So I just thought it was nice to have that. Definitely helps fit in the world a lot better. So yeah, we're doing some landscaping now, which of course I decided to include that because there really isn't much landscaping to this particular lot. We do some palm trees, which are throughout this part of the world, and then this nice little tree, though I did resize it a bit so it wouldn't clip into the actual house structure. So of course that's, important. You don't want a tree kind of clipping into your living room. So this is where I came back and I'm trying to like figure out, okay, what are we doing up here? What are we doing with this whole like front elevation? And this is when I start kind of changing things and kind of like revamping it a bit. So I shrink it all down and I get rid of the walled supports, and then I get rid of the half walls, and I do keep the overall size the same. I just kind of make it look kind of like it's floating kind of off the building. And this is where we shrink the skylights down because I just thought it was just too much light. And I mean, there is a time and a place for that, but obviously I don't know, just something about it. It's still nice to have the skylights, but it also gives more rooftop terrace space, and also allowed me to connect them a bit better without these like narrow walkways. Otherwise, it would have just been a little silly looking, I guess. But it's always nice to have a little skylight light. We are changing the color tone of the stone on the exterior of the house. I went for a whiter kind of stone at first, but then I found a slightly kind of off-white, which I think even matches much better to the surrounding lots and to this particular part of Dambele. So yeah, we're just figuring that out. And I was thinking about changing the colors of the arches, but the only other one that actually had what I wanted was like yellow. And I was like, this really doesn't go. So we're going to keep it on the white side. And of course, the roof is a stone like tile now, which is the same that kind of surrounds the build. But in the final version of the build, I go back to the kind of terracotta kind of tiles that you might see on some of the other decorative houses kind of scattered around this particular lot, only because I felt like it helped blend this house in a bit better. And it just, I don't know, it just makes it feel like it belongs here in this part of the world. I mean, even though like the tan roof or the stone roof could actually work too, I don't know, there's something about the terracotta tiles that just make it better, I guess. This is the stairwell up to the roof terrace, or at least one of two stairwells. But this one is just kind of like its own little room where you walk out an archway and then you go up the steps, and there's like a little kind of like shelf, I guess, for like plants. And then this is where I change the stairs to have some carpet, add a chair by this little bar cart. And then we add some decorations to the kitchen, though I do keep it pretty minimal. There's no microwave or coffee pot or anything like that. But if you do want those, you can always add that. I was also thinking about adding a kitchen island. I considered that for quite a bit because there's quite a lot of space in the kitchen. But then I kind of just liked having it open like that without obstructing the path with an island. We're also using these new sheer curtains. They come in a variety of different patterns and stuff, but a lot of them also are like nice and sheer. So they have a couple of different color tones to the sheer curtains as well. Like they have like reds and basically all the same colors that you get in the patterns, but you know, also they have plain ones without patterns. So it's nice to see that. We're now putting together the primary bedroom. So we do this vanity table here. We do a nice big 4-poster bed. There's a ceiling fan up there. We do a nice little lounger out by the archways here, which are actually fenced off. That's actually a window. It's not actually a door. But then there's like a little one tile kind of like balcony thing, but that's not accessible to your Sims, but it's just there for decoration. Then we do these little accent walls with the columns, which also weirdly matches the archways on the outer walls. So I think that's pretty cool. That was not intentional. Like I didn't even like think about that at all when I was putting it together. It just kind of works that way. So that's pretty neat. And then we're just putting this nice little family portrait up here. And then just a decorative plant in the corner. And that is pretty much the primary bedroom done until we come back for a little bit of clutter on the vanity table. Now I'm just figuring out the bathroom space. So we do double sinks, a toilet over on this side of the room, and then a tub in front of the long like wall of windows. And then the shower ends up tucked inside that little room with the archway, just because their base game showers, there actually was no shower that came with Royalty and Legacy, though I really wish they would have included a tub and a shower that came with Royalty and Legacy. That would have been nice to see, because I mean, we got a full kitchen set, but I guess if they give you a full kitchen set, they can't give you a full bathroom set, so they only give you new vanity sinks, I guess, and a mirror. I don't know, but I mean, just to have a tub. I mean, actually, there is a tub. There is a tub with Royalty and Legacy, just thinking about it, but it is a giant corner tub. So I don't really like using those. I mean, I will probably use it at some point, but I don't really like them. They take up a lot of space, especially because it's based off of the base game one, and it just looks weird. But I'd rather just have, a freestanding tub and maybe like a shower without any walls. That would have been nice. Like kind of like the sleek bathroom shower, for example. That's kind of what I was thinking of, or something similar to that effect, I guess. Or maybe something with, I don't know. I don't know how they would do that, actually, thinking about it, but maybe like some golden like surround with glass, or like fluted glass would have also been nice, like a shower to have. Anyway, back onto other topics. So we changed the hardwood out. I was using base game hardwood at first, but then I go back to this nice square one, which came with one of the login event rewards. I don't know, I just liked using it here as well. I know I used it in my previous build, Casa Radis, but I really liked using it here as well. I just like the tone of it. And it works well. We're now on to the secondary bedroom, which is an orange room. I wanted to do something bright and vibrant, along with a kind of like red, kind of like bedspread. We do a computer and a desk in the corner. We have a tall mirror and a dresser and just some artwork. And then we do red sheer curtains in this particular room just to kind of tie in the bedding. And then we use this circular rug and kind of put it in the mirror, kind of like a dressing point. This is a home office or a study. I went for black in here. Black was kind of the accent color, and I just brought in a mirror and then some kind of like office related clutter, but that's really all you'll find in here. We do a black sheer curtain as well, and then a small area rug under the actual desk and a potted plant. But all in all, it's a pretty simple home office, but I really like its location, and it is close to the rooftop terrace. So yeah, we do some just some general office clutter there, and then we do the shoes again, which I think are so cool, but I put them over by the lounger, kind of like your Sims kind of took their shoes off to lay on it, kind of is what I was thinking. And then we use this sailboat item, but it doesn't actually slot to a table, so I just used the tool mod to kind of lift it up and then make it so it wasn't floating on that console table there. Now we're working on the rooftop terrace, which we do some sun loungers. We do this like sword practicing dummy thing. And then I was going to do a kind of circular dining table, but I didn't think that made sense all the way up on the terrace roof, like way out there. So we do a small two-seater table off of the little enclosed kind of area off the kitchen, which I don't really show a whole lot, but literally that's all that's out there besides some exterior lighting. It's just a small little thing off the side of the house. That's it. It's not accessible to Sims, like your Sims can't get out that way, but it's just something that's kind of off the kitchen there. So yeah, doing some clutter in the living room real quick because I found some more things and items that I wanted to scatter around. And then we were back up to the rooftop where we were just scattering around some of these decorative pots and things. And then when I do some more of the landscaping, I add a kind of like planter with some half walls, and we add some exterior lighting with lanterns, as you can see in the screenshots now. And the lighting at different times of the day in this particular part of the world is just amazing. It almost looks like it isn't real. Like, I don't know, it just looks like a totally different game. The way the light hits the build at certain times is just so interesting. I don't know, it almost looks amazing, I guess. Especially when you get into the primary bedroom, it's like, wow, this is like the light coming through the arched wall is just beautiful. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's just so nice. It's a really nice build. And again, you can find it on the Sims 4 gallery. My EID is just TheSimified. But yeah, we're now at the front entrance, and then this is the front door. I did put burglar alarms, one down here and then one up on the second floor by the archway to the rooftop terrace. And then this is looking into the kitchen and dining room. And then this is looking out to the kind of stairwell from that same point. And then this is the beautiful kitchen. Pretty simple, pretty minimal, but I just kind of like how it looks. It does the job. And this is the dining space. And then this is that kind of seating area off the kitchen there, which, I mean, has a nice view, I must say, but it's not really the main focal point. All the other spaces kind of are of the build. But this is the living space with this beautiful fireplace with candles. And then this is the second floor kind of hallway area. And then this is the hallway bath, which is kind of more of like an olivey green and black. This is the secondary bedroom. And then we go into the home office, and I save the primary bedroom for last because I really just wanted to showcase that one, and I really love how it looks. Like, here we go. Like, this is beautiful. Look at that lighting and everything. You can see out the arches, and it's just so pretty. Yeah, I really love it. And yeah, so we kind of zoom around and get some of different angles of the primary bedroom, and then we go into the primary bath. And then we finish off with the rooftop terrace. But I do hope you enjoyed this speed build. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. We will definitely be working on a Bellecourt speed build next, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel. And yeah, do hope you enjoyed this one. I have to say, great views from the rooftop terrace as well. And of course, who wouldn't want to lounge here? But that's all I had for this video. I do thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon with another build.